Special event alert.
Let go of Jack and grab your cack, because you are late for Changeover, your weekly space news and variety show. I'm your host, Marty Smith, and I'm joined by Mr. History,
Woo!
Eric Perrott,
in Colorado.
and our man in the closet, Jake Wall.
What's going on, guys? Good to see you.
We're here to bring you the latest headlines and updates pertinent to all Guardians and to our Earthbound branches as well. So take your seats, get informed, and have a laugh as we present Late for Changeover. That was not easy to say.
Late
That was a good one, huh?
for Changeover.
Earthbound, because I had brothers last week, and then I crossed it out and put branches. So I had Earthbound brothers branches. Fuck yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys. Little Mule is supposedly out at a baseball game.
Double header with the kiddos.
Double hitter with the kids, right?
Got to play dad.
Eric, how was
Priorities.
Florida? How'd your Florida trip end up?
Florida was amazing. Good
What
day
was your
at the
best
beach.
round of golf you shot?
Ooh, a 96. 96.
Out of.
Well, you know, par is 72 if that helps you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He didn't say what was your. Are you that
96
good? I'm not a good golfer. I just have a good time golfing. So yeah, but we had a great day at the beach. We ate at a place called the Ugly Grouper. Amazing
Nice.
food.
Oh,
Great
man, you
drinks.
can't. And where you were on the Gulf Coast?
Yeah, Anna Maria Island on Holmes Beach. Man, it was beautiful.
No,
Awesome.
Man. Do you see where they closed all those beaches over around Panama City
Yeah,
for
up north sharks.
for all the sharks? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that lady got chewed up.
Yeah.
Literally.
There was several shark attacks.
That was
so-
rough.
And we're
And the Gulf
talking
Coast, man.
shin deep water. We're not talking deep water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, was it really? I didn't realize it was that shallow.
They're in shallow water, man.
That's not fair, man. Come on. Got to be a barrier. Let us walk.
Save the sharks. Save the
I
sharks.
mean, we're already risking urchins and fucking eels in shallow water. So now
Crazy.
you got sharks up there, fuckers.
Cussing sharks. Fuckers. There goes 10% of our listeners.
There they went.
Any motorcycle rides, Jake?
Oh,
Last week it was rainy last week, but you
Just
go out?
commuting. I rode my bicycle about 20 something miles.
Damn.
I have to ride to a destination, so I rode
Oh,
across
I
town
agree. Yeah,
to meet up with friends for beer and bullshitting, and then
Yeah.
rode back.
That ride back is always dicey
It's definitely slower.
After a
because you
couple
talk
beers.
yourself into it going there. You're like, this is such a good
Going
idea.
there, it's a breeze.
I'm so
man.
smart for doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And then you kind of look at that bike after you had it, and you're like, fuck me.
Well, it's becoming, it's dusk and it's raining, and you're like,
Well, what do
I'm
you
already
do?
here. I got to do it.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
gonna
right.
drink a beer and
So-
enjoy the weather.
Yeah.
So I wanted to
it's
bring
good
this
time.
up to you guys. I had I'm on my second day of my new job. Right?
Woo.
This is a small company.
Yeah.
Good
Right? It's
point.
one of those. You know how the contracting goes. Big company, small company. Well, this is a small company, but they're hiring like crazy. But it's a small company. So I go up there, and they got everything's nice. It was kind of like when the MCS at Buckley was really nice. First off, and now it's a shithole. Now it started off as Highlands Ranch. Now it's like the MCS is like Aurora. Now it's fucking there's like broke down cars in the hallways.
There went 10 more
You
percent.
you gotta walk over people sleeping and
Every military area has like a chair closet, right? Where all the dead chairs go because nobody wants to actually load them up and take them to DRMO or Dermo.
it's like Pixar should do a movie on all these broke chairs, with no arms
Yeah.
and half the wheels are missing off the feet.
Somebody was picking at the embroidery at Sivers.
Cops.
Some
Fair
big
share.
stain on the seat cushion, and you're like, was that Coke or was that somebody who couldn't hold it, right?
Cops, and they always have their knives that they got to play with. So there's always an etching mark out of the freaking armrest or
Got
some
it.
crap like
Woo.
that. Yeah, picking
Or
it.
the chairs that are locked in the recline position
Yeah.
that will
Well,
never come forward
That's
again.
a cop chair there, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drool.
So I go over there and they have a huge snack bar, right? You know, and it just like anything you ever wanted. And it's almost like a grocery store. Like all the sodas are pushed forward, you know, just
Oh,
right
nice.
dress. And I was like, holy shit.
So this is a building that they occupy? Or
This is their headquarters
You're-
up there
okay.
in Boulder, right?
Okay.
So I take a Coke and I walked up to the kind of HR person. I was like, "Hey, where do I pitch in for the snack bar?" She goes, "No, that's complimentary for you guys." And I was taken aback. You know, for 30 years I've been like snack bar, you know, right? And it's so ingrained into me that there was a thought. It was like, this is all free. And there was a fleeting thought. It was like, I should just grab a bunch of shit right now. I don't know why that thought came from.
Scarcity. You're like,
I know, right?
Put it in a box, take it home.
I don't have to write an
Meanwhile,
IOU.
HR 's like-
I don't have to put like 25 and 10 pennies in there. So it sounds like I'm pitching in a whole lot more than I'm pitching in.
My company did the exact same thing, but it was nothing healthy. Candy bars, chocolate.
Oh, of course.
So
right.
you're eating
right.
all day long and you go home and you're like, oh my God, I'm 30 pounds heavier. And I
Right.
just walked in the door.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But that's the other thing up there with this company. Its headquarters is in Boulder. I'm going to be working out of Buckley, but its headquarters is in Boulder. So, as you might expect, most of those guys, I mean, it's primarily software guys. And there's some ops, or sort of ops guys, but there's non-software guys, but the majority is software guys. And they're all freaking rail thin, man. I mean, like, they're like, I was talking with one, and he goes, yeah, I get here at 6, you know, I leave at 3, but I'll probably go on a hike before I go home. I was like, whew, you're young. You're a young guy.
Marty's like, ew.
Well, we're not doing that.
Well, I didn't want to be the old guy. I was like, that's
The
dumb.
gall of these
That's
kids.
dumb. You want to drink? You want to go to the strip bar? That's what we should be doing.
That's perfect.
He would have looked at me like I was an alien from Kazoo. But he
Invite
would
your
have been
hiking buddies. We're going to the stripper
like,
club.
who are you?
Yeah.
What are you,
Yeah.
dinosaur?
Yeah.
So it was interesting all the flashback snack bar stuff, and you know the mandatory go help them bring that stuff in. You know, they went to Costco. Go help them bring it. It's so
Yep.
stupid, man. And the snack bar was always it always fleeced the crew. You know, they weren't competitive prices. Yeah. Why am I paying $1.50 for a freaking Hot Pocket? You just got 50 of them for like 25 cents a piece. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
We got to
So-
go buy another group. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly,
You know.
yeah. Or
Keep the
Were you
fun
ever
going.
around when
you
somebody
gotta
got
account for loss.
somebody got in trouble for the accounting of the snack bar?
Ooh,
Have you ever seen that? Oh yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it.
someone's going to jail.
Yeah, somebody got in trouble for it. You know, they're skimming off the snack bar.
We had a great snack bar at the schoolhouse, right? Because it's tech school kids, you know.
Oh
There's
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
community
They're
of tech school
desperate.
kids,
Yeah.
and then there's nothing else around there on Vandenberg, so we would make good prices, but
Right. But
yeah,
these guys
we
were just,
always
and they can't go anywhere. They go to
yeah.
they go to the dining facility, class, and back to the barracks. So yeah, you were fleecing them left and right, baby.
So does this new employment look like it's going to be something you can work with? Something
Oh
you're
yeah,
gonna like?
definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's,
That's cool.
That's
I dig it. Now it's I got to go back. I just got read out of all my tickets at Buckley, and now I got to get read back into all my tickets at Buckley.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, God damn it.
To
So-
the SSO or to the intelligence side?
Well, I got to read back into my SCI, right? So I got to get
it'll
all
be the
those.
Intelligence
Um,
side or the NRO side?
No. It won't be on the NRO side.
So it'll be the SSO, Buckley
Yeah.
SSO. That's
Yeah.
gonna do it.
Well,
Um,
it depends on who the contract owner is. Like we had to go.
That's right. That's right. The company
We
owns
got to
your
go
SCA,
out
right?
to different places. And my last job was managed out of L.A.
Oh,
and they would have they had an agreement
With the
with
SSO.
the SSO out at Schriever that we would go get read in out there, but then that SSO would immediately transfer the ownership of those things
so
out to LA.
You know, what was nice is we had a contract with AFRL out of New York, and I happened to know the SSO from our military days. We
Oh,
were
nice.
stationed at Pete together. So he did up a letter for me that said, I can read in the tickets without him having to go there or go to Buckley and get, an assist. I had the authority to do it based on this letter. So my guys all came to me and didn't have to travel anywhere.
all right.
That's great.
Yeah.
So tell me this, Eric. Why is SSO such a power trip? And why does every SSO think that every other SSO doesn't know what the hell
Doing
they're
it
doing?
wrong.
Absolutely.
Doing
Everyone.
it wrong. Doing it wrong.
Why?
There is not one SSO that consistently does it the same as any other SSO.
Yes, I know. It's maddening.
So we worked with AFMC. We worked with what's the base up in Massachusetts?
Oh, shit.
Cod?
No,
We have Cape Cod up there.
It's
but-
not Cod. It's the other one. Anyway,
Hanscom?
Hanscom.
Oh,
It's Hanscom.
very good, Jake.
So the SSO there
Pulled that in.
requires
Yeah,
us
you
to
did.
submit a letter requesting billets for those people who will be supporting the contract that are going to be read in SCI. So once we identify how many people, they send back, here's your list, here's your billet list, here's your numbers. And then I had to submit a letter to them identifying the person going into that billet. Once they approved that, they would do an in-dock assist to the SSO at Buckley. And our person, once that in-dock assist was arrived, they'd go to Buckley, get the in-dock, the paperwork was sent back to Hanscom. What a pain in the butt, right?
Yeah.
AFRL says, Eric, here's your in-dock authority. Do the 4414, read them in, send me the 4414. We're good.
See?
Yeah. Some use it, some don't. Some, do billets. Some just say read them in. It's crazy.
So I used to have to go when I was doing testing. And every once in a while, they'd have to
Eric's
go
hitting it
test at
hard
Schriever,
tonight.
right? From Buckley. They'd have to go down to Schriever. Well, Schriever has, of course, the RA, but then when they were doing testing was the MCS-B inside the RA, which had its own SSO.
Yeah.
And they would always go, oh, we don't show you. And I was like, well, the guys at the RA showed it. It's like, oh, yeah, but they didn't contact us. And it's just like, God bless you guys,
it's very frustrating. And the ones that think they know more than the others, with when we had JPAS, if it showed your tickets and it didn't identify the owner of those tickets in JPAS,
Yep.
they'd lose their shit. Because the contractor, if it was under the contractor's SMO code, Security Management Office code, they would lose it. They'd go, no, the contractor can't read you in on tickets. It's got to be another SSO that owns them. And I'm like,
Government.
does it make any sense that they're going to do the exact same thing that I just did?
I don't understand it. And I don't understand why SSOs, security guys, aren't, the last thing they want to do is just lean a little forward. And they're like, hey, I'm leaving at 3:30. So if you want this
Well, do you guys know the
bar-
SSO at Buckley? His name's Woody. Big
Uh,
guy, older. He's a nice guy, and he'll at least entertain any ideas. If it's not what he likes, he'll tell you no, but he'll listen to it.
That's cool.
I love it when you actually get there and your VAR's not right. And all they can do is like, yeah, your VAR's not right.
Sorry. You're out.
Sorry you traveled across the country for this, but you probably should have called for it.
Last year, we traveled to England. There were 2 of the 5 of us that were on the back of the page.
Yeah.
Back of the freaking formal submission and everything.
Yeah.
The 3 on the front got processed. They never flipped the card over. I was
see-
literally standing out
Mm.
in the parking lot with the VP. Him and I are standing in the parking lot,
No way.
catching a county bus back to town in our suits because our clearance hadn't been processed.
The organizations that deny entry, period, are just wrong because they can turn right around, grab your social, look it
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, they could
through a
This
number
was-
of databases.
if they wanted.
I would
to.
always do that. If you showed
This-
up at my door saying I need to see so and so, I would validate your clearance for the day.
Right
Yeah.
It
then.
wouldn't be a long-term bar for the
Right.
day, and you could come in. It was never
Yeah,
an issue.
That's, you're an anachronism. You're a rarity, baby.
Well, this was, to be fair, this was UK and it was foreign visit.
Sure, but it
Foreign
sounds
facility,
exactly
so-
like me standing in front of the Schriever guy, going, "Oh yeah,
That-
they should have. Your SSO should have sent this down.
Yeah.
Oh, my SSO's gone for the day. Oh, sorry, there's nothing I can do."
Yep.
I was like,
And I
That's
looked at the
crap.
form and I looked at the form before it and I was like,
Are they gonna? They'll flip it. They're professionals. They know. Before we get into our pre-planned stories, I saw this story pop up. I didn't even send it to you, but it's a story that just came out today in Stripes.com. White House rejects the 20% pay raise for junior troops and the end of marijuana testing for recruits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the White House came out and said, no, we don't like it.
Wow.
So that junior troop one was kind of a dick move because it went all the way up to E6,
That's
and
not
then
well. I guess it's-
E7, 8,
That's not
7,
really
8, 9.
junior. Yeah,
were
it's gonna
left
screw
as the
up all that
same.
pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So E6 and E7,
Would be
depending on
that
time and
close.
grade,
Yeah,
were like $50 off.
Right,
No,
right.
That's
You're like,
crap, man.
and say,
man,
I think we addressed that last year. I mean, if you
We
raise
did.
these guys,
you got
then you
to
really got to ripple all the way up through
Yeah.
through the at least the enlisted corps. You could, the officers will be fine. We're not going to touch them, but yeah, you don't want an E7 making $100 more than an E6.
More incentive
Yeah.
to depart the job.
I mean, what was the one
that
proposal
was
with it?
exactly it.
Yeah, it was like
They're losing tons of the top three.
up their BAH. You don't have to touch their base pay, but you can make it easier for them to live. Give them a housing allowance. More
Give them something above the poverty level.
But I thought I thought it was interesting since we covered that the other day. That the marijuana testing, they're like, nope,
They're putting
we
it
can't
off.
have that either.
And
So
the problem is they're putting it off. Like
I know,
they're
You're
gonna
right.
have to deal with
Yeah,
it.
you're right. You're right.
Well,
And we've been
remember
calling
too,
for
though,
years, but
they said if you're clean for a year.
now it's not even that.
It's not even
Oh,
a
is
year.
it?
It's like 30 days.
When I was there,
Yeah,
it started
it's-
as a year.
Right, but now
Yeah.
they're saying, just come
Now
back in
it's,
30 days,
have you
drink a bunch of
smoked in the
orange
last
juice, come back
30
in 30
years?
days, and we'll
Yeah,
take
see, I
care
didn't
of it.
know that. I
Yeah,
thought it was just a
yeah.
year.
But that's the thing. That's what's stupid about it, right?
I agree.
It is now legal in the majority of states in one form or fashion.
And that's a great point you brought up last time, Jake.
So you have to accommodate for that.
Yeah, I
They're
agree.
doing something that's legal.
Yeah.
And then you're saying, no, you can't do this. You can't come in because
Well,
you did
state
something
and
that was
federal,
totally legal.
State and federal.
But federals,
And they still haven't been
and
able
that's
to
what I'm
figure that
saying. Federal needs to address it. They need to stop.
And they
dicking
just
They're
keep
around.
gonna.
kicking
The
that.
pool is gonna get this big. They're not
They
gonna have a
No,
pool of
it's
people.
already small as hell.
They
Yeah.
keep kicking it down the road. Right.
Everybody is smoking dope.
All right, let's move into the
I can't get
pre-planned
Marty to
story.
smoke at all. I'm telling you, man. He's stingy.
I know. No.
Dude, every rental car in Vegas, when we were going out there for work trips,
Yeah.
we would open up the door and be like, oh,
Ooh.
nope, next. Nope. I'm like, golly, they've been hotboxing this for a week straight. And like, come on.
And it might not be the guys renting it. It might be the guys who work at the rental car
Cleaning
place
it.
who are
Yeah.
parking them.
Ugh.
Dude,
They got the lemon flavored Armor All. And
there's that smoker's like you ever get into a smoker's car?
Oh,
and
on the
there's that
windshield?
blue
Yeah,
film
yeah.
On the
And you gotta go,
inside, and you're like, Yeah.
And the
It's like that, only green. You're like,
Oh man, what a film!
yeah.
Last week in space. Last week we had two big launches on the 5th and on the 6th.
Ooh,
You've been tracking that, Eric? See?
a little bit.
yeah,
They were significant. One was from Boeing, so it was Boeing Starliner, and one was from SpaceX. SpaceX launched their Starship. So the first one was covered, or both of these were covered by Spaceflight Now.
Nice.
The first one on Boeing, the headline is "Third Time's the Charm" for the Boeing Starliner crew flight test. So remember, they tried to launch before, but they had a helium leak in the Centaur upper stage. So they pulled that off. They thought they had
Get you
that
every
fixed,
time.
and they did get it fixed, at least enough to launch. But it's
In
interesting
Boeing's
if we would do
time,
this.
there's a whole new time frame for Boeing. It's their own thing.
That's
So
their
it's,
own thing.
it's all
You know.
based on Boeing time.
They're distracted with other things.
It's funny that Boeing and SpaceX are both competing to be the carrier for this Artemis moonshot, right? But NASA seems to be more in bed with Boeing than they are with SpaceX. I think that's interesting.
What?
Yeah, I know.
That
Maybe because
Uh,
SpaceX doesn't donate billions of dollars to
Well,
politicians.
I wonder, is SpaceX still getting subsidized?
Probably.
Probably.
good
Right?
question.
They got government contracts for sure.
Yeah, definitely. After two launch attempts on May 6th and June 1st ended with scrubs, the Atlas V rocket roared off Pad 41 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, beginning a more than week-long mission for NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams. Liftoff took
Right,
place
Butch.
on June 5th at 10:52 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, marking the first crewed flight for Boeing's Starliner spacecraft after years of delays and setbacks. The spacecraft successfully completed its orbital insertion burn and circularized its orbit 15 minutes into the mission, or 1 hour and 15 minutes into the mission. Later, working around multiple. Now, this is what I didn't understand. So, Starliner went up there and docked with the ISS. Okay, but they had a rough go of it. They had to do some funky stuff, and they almost aborted the docking with the ISS because they had multiple helium leaks. Helium
Because
again. This
The
is
Russian
on the
on the
vehicle.
ISS was blow it up, it's
Right.
gonna blow up.
They had multiple helium leaks and thruster problems. The crew of Boeing Starliner spacecraft wrapped up a challenging rendezvous. They did successfully dock with the ISS, but they had to close some valves and then open them at the last second. They had to do some funky stuff. So good on them, good on the ground, and good on the crew for being able to accomplish it. But they're like, well, yeah, we're springing leaks all over the place.
Ben Affleck was in that hole whacking it with that crowbar.
Yeah, there you go.
Bunch of cowboys. I just saw that the other day. I just saw
Cowboys.
that scene too, man. It's funny. So after it reached orbit, two more helium leaks developed that prompted flight controllers to close valves, leading to the affected plumbing or manifolds. While they analyzed leak rates and potential workarounds, closing the manifolds took down 5 of 28 reaction control system jets in the ship's service module and 3 of 20 more powerful OMAC thrusters. Wilmore and Williams plan to, but they successfully made it, and they're up there. And I think
Nice.
they come back later in the week. So good on them. That's pretty cool. But that's still like, God, they still got
Welcome
issues.
to Boeing.
Yeah, it's kind of issues. So, the second launch, or the launch on the 6th, was by SpaceX. So SpaceX is still experimenting with Starship. that's as creative we got. Starliner and Starship. Who makes who was it Boeing that made the Dreamliner aircraft? The plane?
Yeah. Boeing's
It was
Dreamliner.
Boeing that made the
Yep.
Dreamliner, right? So they're like, hey, how about Starliner for that? Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Give that guy a raise.
And then fired because nobody
So
likes it.
SpaceX, they launched Starship, but their big move on this launch because it just launched. It went like suborbital, but the big one was to make sure that their heavy booster was recoverable. So this
Yep.
was the big
Yeah.
test for them controlling their heavy booster back into a splashdown. And they launched out of their Houston location, right? I can't remember what that's called. Starbase. That's right, Starbase out of Houston.
More creativity going on
Yeah,
right
I
there.
know. So that was SpaceX's big goal. So Starship was the first time, or Starliner, first time they had crew. They made it with the ISS. Fucking huge, right?
Yeah.
Starship, who's already sent up crewed missions, I think, right? Or have they?
SpaceX.
SpaceX has sent
Yeah.
up crewed missions, but I don't know
Yeah.
if Starship has. But anyway, their big goal was to recover this heavy rocket booster. So it's
Gene
interesting.
Roddenberry is turning over in his grave
I
today.
know. Well, it's interesting. So these two launches were a day apart. So I went and made a cut up of these two launches, right? And you can see the difference. One, I mean, they're both talented, obviously, companies and teams, right? But one is, in my opinion, it's like watching like a concert cellist perform, and you go, "Oh, she's really talented." And the other one is like watching the Beatles come to America, and you're like, "Holy shit, this is crazy!"
Chaotic.
So I switch back and forth. So this is Starliner versus Starship launches. So here we go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff of Starliner and Atlas V, carrying 2 American heroes, drawing a line to the stars.
They're already heroes. Okay.
Boldly go. Where
Did you
no
hear her
man
line?
has gone.
2 American heroes drawing a line to the stars for the rest of us. I was like,
Wow.
that would have been great in 1968.
Yeah, you're a little behind the power curve, man.
Hey, it's good. It's a good line. It's like, they wrote it and they're like, I'm using that. I'm using that. Hell yeah.
Yep. Butch and Sonny right up there.
Butch and
Having a
Sonny.
good old time.
Yeah. It's the third test one that they've taken, or Butch has been in.
Oh, really?
one for her.
Butch, the wheel hadn't fallen off
Calling
yet, has
NASA
it?
Mission Control here in Houston that the spacecraft has begun rolling into the right attitude for its
So they got an
guidance
external
navigation
camera.
control officer here in the room, seeing good data on that.
So this is Boeing and NASA. Now, before we get too far into it, remember that part in Apollo 13, right, where they were supposed to be broadcast on TV and nobody really cared anymore because NASA had done it so much, they were so successful at it, and it had lost some of the public's interest.
Sure.
You'll notice that maybe NASA still hasn't learned, because as we flip back and forth, you'll see the difference. Okay, here's SpaceX.
10, 9,
And I think they blew the mic out right away.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
There goes the mic.
Good night.
Yep.
But look at this view. How did they get this view? That's
Drones.
Above it?
ass, right?
Above
That's
it? Yeah.
freaking
Vehicle is pitching
awesome.
downrange.
That is cool. You can see the shock waves too. Look at that.
Damn, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like the
I did-
information at the bottom too.
I do
honestly,
too.
like
That bottom thing is
that speed
really
and
cool.
altitude and
How
then
you'll
can
be
the
able to
rocket
tell the
drones
difference.
be that
All
high,
right,
though?
30
They can't put a
seconds
drone
into
up that
flight.
high, can
The rumbles are still building here in the Raptor's nest. We're seeing 32 out of 33 engines lit on the Super Heavy right now. Coming up shortly is going to be max
Yeah, they
Q
lost
at
an engine
maximum
right after
aerodynamic pressure
launch.
as we go uphill on the vehicle.
Hmm.
Okay, now we're back to the NASA. NASA switched to a cartoon depiction, right?
yeah.
So they did have the camera there when the shroud came off. But you see their bottom display. You would think like that tracker bar would be filling in. They don't.
It's in here in the
It
ground.
doesn't.
Decals open. You have sublimator rock.
Decal, sub at. Decal. Great at.
Team on the ground reporting that they saw the ascent cover on top of Starliner that's been protecting
More space
the
junk.
spacecraft's docking system through its climb into orbit. They saw that jettison as planned.
Staging was good. You have good control.
And now the second stage's 2 Centaur engines have ignited to continue pushing Starliner into space, fueled by liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen.
No,
see
it
how
did
they
a big
just-
jump.
That we'll be
It did a
watching
big
for is
jump.
the
Yeah,
Aeroskirt
yeah.
jettison.
It's like the checkbox kind of thing. Okay.
I was kind of expecting it to like, oh, it's getting closer. Oh,
Build.
It's right there. Nope,
Yeah.
they just went like hit the Centaur one. Okay. See, and then they
No,
go
and
back
then
to
it's-
the depiction. I'm like, yeah.
It's kind of a letdown, isn't it?
All right, we're
After
back
you
to
said-
SpaceX now.
Booster
Dude,
engine cut off.
SpaceX is like, throw some fucking GoPros on it, man.
That's what they
Let's
did.
go. Let's go.
Okay, so they lost there's the
Stage
booster
separation
now.
confirmed.
Yeah.
Boost back burn start up. Acquisition.
Now you can see the bottom left is the camera on the booster. The bottom right is the camera on Starship.
Yeah.
All right.
Sitting.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I remember what was going on with this. That's,
Yeah. So now the booster's turning and firing its
Hot
engines to go
stage
back to Earth.
confirmed. Ship under its own power. Booster boosting back. Looks like all 13 are lit. Kate, we've got a booster on the way back to the Gulf and a ship on the way to space.
That's freaking cool.
That's 3
Acquisition
minutes
signal.
in.
Status.
That's the closest I'm ever going to
Chamber
get.
pressures are nominal.
But yeah, at least
Power and telemetry
the
nominal.
video.
All right, the
I'd
first
much-
stage currently performing the boost back burn. This is expected to last a little over 1 minute. This propels the booster back toward the coast, taking it to a landing in the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. As you can see on your screen in the bottom left-hand corner, we were only using the 13 center engines from basically from here on.
Boost back burn shut down.
Heard confirmation there of good boost back burn shutdown.
Stage 2 tank pressures are nominal.
So
Loving it.
that's their main goal. So they achieved their goal. Everything else is gravy on that, right?
Right.
Remember?
Right.
Yeah.
But it gets even better.
Lots of excitement. So right here,
Even that view is really, really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
this is our view of the jettisoned hot stage. As we mentioned, this is a temporary fix to help reduce the weight of the booster, the super heavy booster. Future iterations will have a lighter weight integrated hot stage structure that won't need to be jettisoned.
So they just
Okay.
acknowledge, hey, we acknowledge space junk,
Now-
but Rev 2, no space junk.
Oh,
We're just gonna
but we're-
come bring it
but
back in and
Look
land
how
it.
good we are with space junk. So we're back to the NASA, right? Again, they're showing the graphic depiction of this. Now, the event, which should be cheered even harder than Starship, was the vehicle separates from the Centaur upper stage.
Yeah.
All right. That now it's piloted by himself. That should be huge, right? It should.
Yes,
be.
it's more professional though.
I-
You're not some
I
freaking
guess.
bull crap startup,
And about 10
hoorah,
seconds
free
until an
serial
expected
people.
launch vehicle separation.
But they're like almost bored with it.
Yeah.
You know.
Professionalism.
Boredom is professionalism.
They're
There it
announcing it like
goes.
they're freaking going to golf,
There
a
it
golf game.
goes. And then they switched
Ooh.
to this telemetry view. It's like
Picking the
fly by
9
wire
iron on
right?
this. I don't know if that 9 iron's a good shot. Good idea.
That you're not getting any.
LV SEP confirmed.
Yep, LV SEP,
Good every second.
good to go.
Guys,
And we
give me
will
a cup
be-
of coffee.
All right,
we will
so,
be igniting 13 engines.
and I compare that with their booster coming down, doing a power decel into the water, right? Which was their.
This is a
main
great
goal.
view. On your left-hand side is three views from the booster, and your right-hand side a view from the ship. And you can see those grid fins on your left-hand screen rotating and turning to guide the booster. And there's that
Wow.
And there's the water.
landing bird. That landing bird just begun, and you can see the water below.
Oh my God.
How cool is that, man?
And we we have splashdown.
She may even have a toy with her right now. I don't know.
It looks like a super heavy
Any
booster.
Brendel Saint. Congratulations to the SpaceX team.
Wow. They're excited.
Ship has entered terminal guidance.
Now, I thought it was funny if I go back just a bit, Jake.
Brendel Saint.
When they now, I don't know who these guys. I mean, they're all SpaceX employees, but I don't know what they do. But you see the mission control guys up there at the top.
Yeah, they're
right?
in the.
And these guys are behind the glass. You know, they can't hear them. But these guys controlling the stuff are annoyed at all the ones that they forced to come in there and cheer on, right? They're like,
no, they might be
damn these
excited.
guys.
So look at we're so crusty. We're like, how dare they find joy in
Maybe
this?
you're right. We would be annoyed. You're like,
sit down and shut up.
Yeah,
get back to work.
But I mean,
I've got 8 more hours of watching this telemetry.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys are going for pizza and beer.
Gonna bring me some
you're
cold-
right. Maybe I am too
like
salty.
4 slices of cold pizza. That's it. That's all we're.
Yeah, we'll bring you some back, guys.
Okay.
Ship has entered terminal guidance.
That was absolutely incredible. The first successful splashdown of the super heavy booster. Loved seeing it just tip over into the water before losing that footage.
But don't you think by now NASA would be like, we need to do something that just like more enthusiasm,
energetic, man.
right?
Yeah, more
we need to
energetic.
generate people's excitement about what we're doing out here, you know? But
More
they're still like,
energetic.
no, we're professional. And it's like, that's why no one's watching you.
Yeah.
And they just sent on a new vehicle 2 astronauts to the ISS on a new vehicle. That's bigger than what
Yeah, that's
SpaceX
pretty
did.
impressive.
That's
Yeah.
bigger than what SpaceX did. So
Oh wait. No,
you don't think?
No.
NASA can't land shit.
Well, that's true.
NASA can't bring back anything.
But they sent 2
SpaceX has already
astronauts.
launched thousands of bodies up there. We've
Yeah, that's
launched
true.
thousands of bodies up there.
I was
SpaceX
trying-
just figured out how to land a super heavy rocket body.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That
And
we're
you know
still to this day tracking rocket bodies from the fucking 70s.
and they said the next
It's
Starship mission is their goal is to take that heavy rocket body and pinpoint land it on the like, tanker or whatever, or the pad.
That's pretty cool.
And I was like, yeah, that's pretty brilliant. I mean, but I also can see the discussions with Boeing and NASA, and they're like, hey, do we have room to put any more of these cameras on there? And they're like, no.
No.
Yeah, but it would be. I was like, how much is one of those cameras? It's only $100,000. And they're like, no.
NASA's just worried about funding.
It is.
Boeing,
Yeah.
any extra funding is going to heart attacks for whistleblowers. So they don't have anything. They don't have anything extra.
And new wheels
to
for the
spend
other
on.
planes, man. Come on.
Yeah.
New doors.
Is it
Yeah,
the
right,
third?
right.
Is that the third whistleblower that's had an accident now?
It's coincidental.
It's all accident.
Yeah, it's like they're using
Yeah.
Clinton
2
realtors or something.
2 suicides and a heart attack. At least they've
Tough
gotten
work.
better at making it less
It's
obvious.
not the same ailment. Okay.
Tough
Yeah.
work. Tough
Something
work.
else.
Dude, that guy was left-handed. All right, I'll improve on the second one. Jeez.
Oh, come on. We're going to take your benefits away, dude. You can't have them.
So
I talked to you about being crusty and cynical. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Boeing suiciding people left and right out there.
You guys been out to Maui, right?
Maui. Yes,
Did you ever go?
sir.
Did you ever go climb the volcano up there? Haleakala, I
No,
think
Maui.
it's called. Well,
Took the
Space
road
Force
to
wants.
Hana.
Mhm.
Space Force wants to put 7 telescopes up there on that mountain.
Ooh,
Right? Maui doesn't want it.
I bet they don't.
They do not want it. So, from the Air Force Times, Space Force telescope proposal on Hawaii volcano meets Maui opposition. Local officials on the Hawaiian island of Maui on last Wednesday voted to oppose a U.S. military proposal to build new telescopes on the summit of Haleakala volcano, the latest observatory project to meet objection in the islands. The U.S. Space Force and Air Force want to build a new facility on the top of Haleakala, Maui's highest peak, to track objects in space. However, the Maui County Council voted 9-0 to pass a resolution opposing the project. The measure said Haleakala's summit was a sacred place used for religious ceremony, prayer, and connecting to ancestors. Now, that's interesting that they say that because there's already a facility up there. You know, the 15th Space Surveillance Squadron has the Maui Space Surveillance Complex already up there. So they wanted to build 7 more telescopes within like an acre attached to that, and let those telescopes be radar controlled by the 15th SPSS. Nope. Right? So I remember when I was out there for Schofield at Schofield Barracks in the Army on Oahu, and the Marines wanted to do a practice beach landing on the northwest side. You know, it's not the main tourist place. They wanted to use those beaches up there, and they proposed, and this was 96. And the argument was like, no, that's native burial ground. That's sacred ground. We don't want you doing these practice landings. So it's like this card they keep pulling out. It's like, is the entire island sacred burial ground for everything? But that's what they claim, right? So,
yeah, I would too.
However, the resolution said that Haleakala is more than just a mountain. The summit is considered, I'm not going to pronounce that Hawaiian name. It's considered a realm of the gods and continues to be a place of deep spirituality for Native Hawaiians to engage in some of these traditional practices. Native Hawaiians claim the project is desecrating sacred spaces and is negatively impacting their mental, emotional, and spiritual health. I mean, the facility that's up there already is already bad enough. Right. But it is interesting because the resolution went on to say that the Space Force hasn't finished cleaning up a 700-gallon diesel fuel spill at the site of its existing telescopes.
Exactly.
The spill occurred last year when a pump that supplies fuel to a backup generator failed to shut off during a lightning storm and just kept pumping diesel.
There's also, I remember they were talking about, there's an aqueduct or a reservoir around one of those telescope places.
Oh, there is.
Yeah. And so Native Hawaiians were pissed because they were having the potential of having a biohazard issue. With
yeah,
one of
why
the,
not, right?
I mean, that's the thing. We're sitting there going, how dare they have the audacity to do this? And yet the military is like, we had a massive fuel leak at Pearl Harbor. Hiccup. Yeah. We've had a freaking oil leak and a diesel leak up on the top of the mountain. My bad.
That was
we
just
don't really have a best history of maintaining a good relationship with the environment and the community out there. You know?
Well, and after this fire, it's even worse now. They're already very negative. Very negative.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom grew up in Oahu and said as a kid she would go down to Pearl Harbor and they would go crabbing. I don't think you can do that now. I mean, it's too overdeveloped. It's too poisoned. Right?
Yeah.
So you're right. They have a point. They keep throwing the sacred thing out there, but yeah, I don't know how much traction that has.
I'd pull any bullshit out if you kept messing up my area.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Sacred ground.
But they're gonna build anyway. You know they are. So
that's what's annoying. Yeah.
Haleakala rises to 10,000 feet. So that's 10,000 straight feet from sea level. It already hosts multiple University of Hawaii observatories and an existing collection of Space Force telescopes called the Maui Space Surveillance Complex. Protesters tried to block the construction of a new observatory on Haleakala in 2017, but building went ahead anyway, and the Daniel K. Inouye Solar Telescope released its first images in 2020. So they were like, hey, thanks for the protest.
Yeah. We listened. Good on you.
We'll name it after somebody.
And in fact, we'll build you a protest area when we're all done. We'll pave it and everything.
That's nice.
And hang out with your signs.
We'll put food trucks so you guys can come back.
Food trucks.
Bring in toilets for you, porta potties.
So it's interesting. Now, you know, being out there, and I know there's a small portion of the population that is that much of an activist out there in Hawaii. But there is kind of, you know, foreigners go home attitude on the off touristy places. You know, you
Agreed.
feel that. You definitely feel that. So.
Well, and like I said, after this fire, Maui has a bad case of it. We don't.
Oh yeah, the fire. That's right. I forgot about
We do not want you here.
The fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Who knows how that started?
Ooh.
Hey Marty, how much are we sending to Ukraine? Just recently?
Not as much as Maui needs. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We'll build 2 Mauis for this last Ukraine.
Yeah, we could.
payment.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, and that's yeah. I don't even
What
know.
was it?
You don't hear
200 and
anything.
something million?
235, something like that.
Oh, there you go. Boom.
All right, let's get our defender going.
Hey,
Again,
now.
right? So this comes from airforce.mil. All right, and Eric, I really need your opinion on this. So
I don't have one.
Yes, you better have one. Air Force Security Forces Command reaches final phase of fielding Model Defender gear.
Model.
A 4-year initiative to monitor 4 years. A 4-year initiative is it almost makes you think that hey, remember that thing you guys started at the beginning of the year? I was like, oh shit, yeah. It was like, are you guys making progress on that?
I was thinking it was more along the lines of the VA started it.
Kind of, right?
You know.
So, a 4-year initiative to modernize the day-to-day equipment of active duty Air Force Security Forces defenders reached its 5th and final phase.
Nice.
With the award of a $39 million contract for state-of-the-art defender gear. The Air Force Security Forces Center, I said command, Center, worked with Air Force Material Command logisticians to get the equipment into the Logistics Readiness Inventory Control System. Who said this? Master Sergeant Derek Walton, Air Force Security Forces Command Model Defender and Gear for Life Program Manager, said, quote, because of this effort, not only will it be easier to account for equipment, defenders will now be able to move from one installation to another with their Model Defender individual equipment kit under the Gear for Life program.
That is new.
This means they will no longer need to have that equipment issued at each installation as they progress in their careers. So I wonder if that's going to be like an initial issue at tech school.
Yeah.
And then you're carrying that for the rest.
Yeah, I mean that's
maintain it.
You use that gear in tech school. I wouldn't see why you wouldn't be able
If they
to
make it all standardized,
issue it.
there you go. You don't have to reissue it.
There's going to have to be some sort of clothing allowance or reissue at some point.
Or pawn shop allowance when they like, shit, I'm missing 5 pouches. I better go down to
Dan's surplus.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. And plus, the requirements are going to change on the deployments.
Well,
depending on locations.
That's a good point. It didn't bring up deployments here, but this article does hint is like this is what you need everywhere you go.
Operation Brim Frost.
I don't know.
Cold. Desert. Really
One
hot?
size fits all always works.
Always unisex. Always. The establishment of the Model Defender individual equipment kit was crucial as it standardized gear across the Air Force Security Forces enterprise, enhancing operational efficiency, ensuring the safety and professional appearance of personnel, and fostering modernization within the total force, said Dennis Rodriguez individual protective equipment branch chief.
Oh.
So,
Well, right from the get-go, I'll say I like the idea.
oh, I like the idea too. But
It's
was
the
there that much variance that it needed to be standardized?
Oh, there was a lot of different.
Just go through any gate.
Yeah, load bearing equipment. Back
Right.
when we didn't wear vests, we didn't wear protective body armor.
Yeah.
Remember when we carried the old Vietnam flak
the
vest?
LBE, yeah.
Yeah, and we had an LBE underneath, and that could be a two strap in the back or a single in the back.
Oh, the two-strap, that's Korea.
Yeah, you had the Vietnam era and Korea. So it was whatever fit better.
Air Force Security Forces Center started the new initiative by developing a standardized equipment list of 23 items, which sounds not very much, which was then coordinated, amended, and improved through major commands and security forces headquarters. This resulted in a final Model Defender individual equipment kit. Let me show you.
So it's interesting.
It's a weird picture, but those are the items, right? Here's how it's supposed to be all assembled. I don't know if that's body armor or if that's
just body armor.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's put it all on there, but that's kind of individually. So equipment rollout to the field is expected to begin in December with full delivery to the field by early 2025. The finalized model Defender kit consists of M4 magazine pouches, M18 magazine pouches, dump pouches for easily stowing a variety of items like empty magazines, holster adapters, molly belts, a web belt that allows gear to be attached in a variety of configurations, utility and handcuff pouches, flashlight, and baton pouches.
All right.
That took 4 years?
I mean,
well, I get what they did, and I like the idea. The concept is awesome, but I still say, depending on the environment you're in, this might not be applicable, especially on a camouflage side.
Well, here's the thing, right? And they're like, okay, guys, here's the final. First off, we got M4 magazine pouches. And they're like, we switched to the 6 hour. Shit!
Well, the M4 is the rifle.
Yeah, but now you get the 6 hour rifle, which is a different ammo, which is a different size magazine.
No, the 6 hour is the handgun.
No, they replaced both.
They're swapping out to the SIGs.
Yeah, they replaced both, and it's got bigger ammo.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. It's like, here's the M4 pouches, and like, we don't have M4s anymore.
So it's going to hold more than 30 rounds?
No, the round is bigger. It's not a 5.56 round. It's that NATO round.
Well,
we did this story, Eric.
The NATO is the 5.56 round.
No. It's bigger than the 5.56. It's almost like a 7.62 round.
Oh, shit.
It's a weird config. Look it up. The new 6 hour rifle. I don't remember what it's called.
I'm gonna have to look at that because I haven't seen it.
We did the article. It was last year, but we did.
We did handguns.
Well, they replaced the handgun. That's true. They did replace the handguns, but now they're fielding the carbine or whatever it is. The 6 hour
rifle.
One. Yeah, it's a different.
So it's an XM5.
XM5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what these guys are. These guys are patting themselves on the back, and they're like, "Hey, 4 years, but we got it." First up, M4 magazine. It was like, it's an M5. Damn it!
I wonder if the pouch would be designed to fit it anyway.
It probably will. It's not like you're going from 5.56 to 7.62 round.
Yeah,
But who knows? The way they designed it, they're probably like, oh, I guess we got to make a whole bunch of new pouches. That's another $39 million that you're going to need to pay.
Yeah.
So
and just the fact that they've now included body armor for daily wear. That's something that we never wore. And if you had...
Was that issued only in certain...
Never.
Oh, really?
It wasn't in the inventory. We did not. Now, with that said, remember we talked about emergency service teams at certain bases?
Right.
We, as a unit, would purchase body armor for the emergency service teams that were doing their thing, not for general issue to the regular squadron.
Yeah.
So this is all new, and I like the fact that they're all wearing it now because, I mean, the threat is everywhere.
It seems like a no-brainer. It's like, hey, these guys are going to have a standard issue. Now, if you want to augment it, You know, that's up to each base. But you're going to get a standard issue load, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to imagine that they haven't had that until this study came out is interesting.
No, I mean, you certainly had a standard load for your weapon when they issued your
Sure.
ammo
Right,
and your
right.
weapon from the armory.
Right.
Standard load. You wore a handcuff, and units knew where to put it on their belts.
Yeah.
So it remained consistent.
Huh.
You know.
Okay.
So if you didn't put your handcuff right behind your handgun, you didn't want close
yeah,
proximity.
right.
You know, center of your back, middle left. It was all designed by the unit training section
Well,
that said.
and the
"We're gonna
Army
wear
had
like this."
that. The Army had that with all their LBE SOP, you know, because
Yep.
you know your first aid pouch had to be the same place. That way, if somebody was laying on the
Needed
ground,
it. You
it
knew where it
wasn't like,
was.
oh, I put my first aid pouch in my pants pocket. You know, like, no, I know right where it's at. So I get that.
Well, and the same with we started wearing tasers, right? So a lot of units wore them. So you didn't want the taser on the same side as your handgun.
Oh, yeah,
You
makes
pull the
sense.
wrong thing. You pull the taser. Oops. Pull the handgun. Oops.
Yeah.
Meant to pull the taser.
Oh, sorry
So-
about that.
But I
Usually
think this is good because, as we've talked about before in the past, security forces missions are evolving. They're being able to do much more than what we did as standard security guys. So I really like the fact that the equipment is matching the new missions where it's evolving. You're going to be in harm's way.
Right.
You're not just sitting on a base playing traffic cop anymore.
Well, one thing I noticed that they didn't recommend on that basic issue was the duct tape holder. You know, so you could have a big round roll of duct tape for all the shit that security forces is going to break and needs to put back together.
Well, that's a concept that will never change. That's, you know.
All right, so now it's time for this show to be philanthropic, I think, right?
Oh.
So we're going to give back to specifically the military, but we're going to get back to the military, but specifically the Space Force. That was not easy to say either.
That was a tough one.
So, every military branch, now it's different depending on who you look it up and what website you have. But generally, every military branch has a patron saint watching over them. Somebody that soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen can all pray to, right? Again, this differs, but generally this is it. So the Army patron saint of soldiers is St. George. Right?
Yep.
The Navy has St. Nicholas, who is a patron saint of sailors or seafarers.
Mm-hmm.
The Air Force has Our Lady of Loreto, which is a patron saint of pilots and air crews. The Marines have St. Barbara, and she protects against thunder, lightning, and accidents involving explosions or gunpowder. Space Force doesn't have one yet. So I thought we could propose on this show a patron saint for the Space Force and send that up. Maybe General Gutlein will see this and go, hey, that's a damn good idea.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you, Late for Changeover, for thinking of us.
Bugs Bunny and the Wily Rabbit and the Coyote. Yeah, that's
So, Eric,
new
I think you had a pretty legit saint. I thought it was a good submission. So why don't you go over it? Now, I wish you would have told me so I could have looked it up and done a picture of it. Right?
Yeah, I understand. Well, and I really believe that this will apply to Space Force because there's a piece of this saint that I think will apply. So my selection was St. George, and you had already spoke about him for the Army.
St. George, yeah.
St. George.
But what else? I mean, obviously each saint has a multitude of things that they're
I wanted to give you a little background, right?
Yeah.
So St. George died April 23rd in 303. He was also known as George of Lada. He was an early Christian martyr who is venerated as a saint in Christianity. According to tradition, he was a soldier in the Roman army of the Cappadocian Greek origin.
Oh.
He became a member of the Praetorian Guard. So again, the Praetorian Guard is the ones that protected the emperor, right? He was the man.
Yeah.
Praetorian Guard for Roman Emperor and I can't pronounce this guy's name, the Diocletian.
Diocesan.
That was the emperor at the time.
Yeah.
But George was sentenced to death for refusing to recant his Christian faith. He became one of the most venerated saints, heroes, and martyrs in Christianity, and has been especially venerated as a military saint since the Crusades. All right, so that's the background. Now, he's got a number of events, but his biggest legend revolved around killing a dragon. And here's where I think it relates to space.
Why are you laughing?
Well, it's because of what I feel about space. So,
Damn you.
St. George and the
How
dragon.
dare you make a joke of this?
So there are several stories about George fighting dragons, but in the Western version, a dragon or crocodile made its nest at a spring that provided water to Selene, believed to be a modern-day city in Libya.
Right.
The people were unable to collect water and so attempted to remove the dragon from its nest on several occasions.
Yep.
It would temporarily leave its nest when they offered it a sheep a day until the sheep disappeared and the people were distraught. This was when they decided that a maiden would be just as effective as sending a sheep, right? A human
Dang it,
sacrifice.
that's a justifiable transition.
So the townspeople chose the victim by drawing straws. This continued until one day the princess straw was drawn, and it's the king's daughter.
Snap.
The monarch begged for her to be spared, but the people would not have it. She was offered to the dragon. But before she could be devoured, George appeared. He faced the dragon, protected himself with the sign of the cross, and slayed the dragon. After saving the town, the citizens abandoned their paganism and were all converted to Christianity.
Freaking George, man, rocking it.
What a bet.
Not only saving maidens, but converting the whole village.
There you go. Part of the story, too, was he allowed the dragon to follow the princess back. And the story goes, he spoke to the king and said, if you allow me to baptize you and convert you all to Christianity, I will then slay this dragon for you. And of course, the king and all the villagers said, yes, we will convert. They all converted. He cut the dragon.
He blackmailed him.
Yeah,
he blackmailed him into freaking Christianity or Catholicism.
They couldn't really say no.
So
Princess
I
Death.
tied King George to these space alien dragons.
Oh, yeah. Wrestling dragons.
So we had to kill the Space Force dragon.
I'll take that. All
That's
right.
my
Gotta
Saint
kill the
George.
aliens.
Yeah.
I like it.
St. George, patron
George.
saint of the Space Force, killing aliens.
I don't
like it.
truly think we need to identify ones for Space Force. There's enough
I
out
like
there.
that.
Oh, how
like
dare
that.
you? How dare you?
Well, we didn't need that little commentary on the end.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I apologize.
Hey.
My saint is St. George.
I like it. My saint, the one I propose, is Saint Wilgefortis. Wilgefortis. All right.
Lesser known saint. I like it.
Well, yeah, she's not in the top 10, but she's in, right?
She's definitely on the playing card rack.
Yeah. Oh,
at the
yeah.
Catholic
Yeah.
store.
Yeah.
though.
She might be in the back.
Oh,
yeah. She might be in the back.
That-
You got to deal a few hands to get
On the bottom and kind of
Wilgefortis.
dusty.
That's right. That's right.
She's cute. Anyway.
Wilgefortis is a female folk saint whose legend arose in the 14th century and whose distinguishing feature, maybe I should preface this and say, in light of the House proposal for the Air Force and Space Force to do a 3-year experiment with beards, Wilgefortis, whose legend arose in the 14th century and whose distinguishing feature is a large beard. According to the legend of her life set in Portugal and Galatia, she was a teenage noblewoman who had been promised in marriage by her father to a Moorish king. To thwart the unwanted wedding, she had taken a vow of virginity and prayed that she would be made repulsive. In answer to her prayers, she sprouted a beard, which ended the engagement. In anger, Wilgefortis's father had her crucified.
Ow.
Amen.
And I just said she was cute. I recount that statement.
Well, you like ladies with beards. That's
Cute
okay.
and
We all have our type.
So,
She's
in
got nice
honor-
hair all the way around.
in anticipation of the Space Force study, that's not going to say no. And the beards that it's going to produce, both male and female. I propose Saint Wilgefortis as the Space Force saint.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a
I
good one.
believe the nail has been hit on the head with this one.
Rocking those beards, man.
Wait,
Man, oh man.
wait, you ain't seen nothing yet.
All right. I'm going
Wilgefortis.
also down there on the lower part of the rack. I'm going with Saint Gemma, or technically Saint Gemma Galgani.
Oh.
She was the patron saint of back pain and back support.
Okay.
This poor lady became seriously ill with what was believed spinal tuberculosis. Not only did her back pain become severe, but it became necessary for her to wear and have an iron back brace and lower back support.
Wow.
Patron saint of lumbar support. Lumbar support is essential in the Space Force.
Oh, good point.
The disease eventually progressed, and she eventually became completely bedridden, earning her 20% VA disability. But okay, I added that part. That was bullshit. She was only able to move her head and arms, but she was a fervent worshiper, and she became Saint Gemma, the patron saint of back pain.
Wow.
My
There's
nominee
Saint Gemma. Sorry. Not the
for
greatest.
that's my nominee for the patron saint of Space Force.
If we put a beard on her, you guys got it nailed, man.
Yeah, dude.
A beard and put a dragon in the background? We got it all.
Yeah, dude.
That would
Got
be
it all.
awesome.
Maybe we'll be the first. Maybe the Space Force could be the first force to have a
Multiple
3-in-1 saint.
Yeah, I like it.
Might you say the Holy Trinity?
Oh, George Gemma Wilgefortis.
Oh, we
We
got
gotta
the
come up with
name.
something.
That's awesome.
Yeah. GGW.
All right. I would let the viewers decide, but that'll be like one guy, maybe. So
Come on, Mom. Chime in for once.
where's Teeny? I can't count on my wife because she won't listen this far
Yeah.
into the podcast.
Yeah.
But Teeny might.
No,
Where's
she
your
only
son?
listens
Does your
to the
son still
shorts.
listen, Eric?
Occasionally, not as often as he used to.
We burnt him out.
Oh.
So, our own family is abandoning us on this. So I vote for Saint Gemma.
I'm going to get us all pendants.
I'm going to go with Gemma as well, man. I think the backache sitting at a terminal. Come on, that's perfect.
Saint
Honest.
Gemma, lower
Saint
back
Gemma.
because
Well,
the
we're talking
majority of Space
Space
Force
Force.
is sitting down for most
Yeah.
of their mission. Even the astronauts are sitting down.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
so
They're along for the ride.
for the second half, though, let's go the Holy Trinity. I like all three.
All right, that's our
And on
our
that
movement. Saint
blasphemous
Gemma
note.
to be the patron saint of the Space Force. So,
Well
Eric,
done.
do you have history, or did we just cover history with all the saints?
Oh, well, I have one if you want to talk about it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it? Do you feel strongly
Man,
about
I
You were
always
pretty
talk
wishy-washy
about my
last
history.
week.
I
Oh, he
always-
was excited about it.
Well, that's
He
because
was
I
not
felt bad.
excited.
It was
Either
because
that
I-
or he was insulted that we'd gone so long.
No, I felt bad because I didn't follow up with what you sent me because I really wanted to do that.
But I didn't call you out on the podcast.
No,
But
you
I'll
didn't.
call you out on this podcast.
Right
That
now.
was a good
Call
one.
No,
you
come
out
here.
on it.
Yeah, it was a good one. I should have. My bad. My bad.
Wait, I called Marty out on it, though.
Yeah, he did.
I said, I like how you didn't do it because Marty's like, hint, hint, Eric. I'm not
So-
saying what you need to do.
Well, but that was all
No.
because we're all gun shy because General Petty was on, so we didn't want to. We didn't want to be our normal selves.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's valid.
Listen.
Yeah.
So tonight's, I was going to stick with the whole D-Day thing because, you had multiple days of D-Day where those events were.
Oh,
occurring,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Right.
But I said, what would be really nice is to see what was happening in the Pacific during the same time.
Oh, good
Okay.
point.
So,
Yeah. Pacific
between-
has been completely forgotten
Oh,
during
yeah.
this period of time.
Right? Yeah, man. And that battle was still raging.
Yeah.
So between, let's say 1 June and 19 June of 1944, so the 11th was included,
All right.
in what would become known as the Marianas Turkey Shoot. U.S. carrier-based fighters decimated the Japanese fleet with only a minimum of losses at the Battle of the Philippine Sea.
Really?
Yeah. So about the same time, we're winning some big stuff in the Pacific. The security of the Marianas Islands in the Western Pacific were vital to Japan, which had air bases on Saipan, Tinian, and Guam. U.S. troops were already battling the Japanese on Saipan, having landed there on the 15th, and any further intrusion would leave the Philippine Islands and Japan itself vulnerable to U.S. attack. The U.S. Fifth Fleet, commanded by Admiral Raymond Spruance, was on its way west from the Marshall Islands as a backup for the invasion of Saipan and the rest of the Marianas. But Japanese Admiral Ozawa Jizaburo,
That's probably dead on accurate.
yeah, decided to challenge the American fleet, ordering 430 of his planes launched from aircraft carriers to attack. In what became the greatest carrier battle of the war, the United States, having already picked up the Japanese craft on radar, proceeded to shoot down more than 300 aircraft and sink 2 Japanese aircraft carriers, losing only 29 of their own planes in the process.
Oh my
It
God.
was later described as a turkey shoot, the Marianas Turkey Shoot.
What carrier was it?
That launched our planes?
Yeah.
Oh, you're digging in, but I think I can find
I
it.
thought he would have that at least.
I'm looking.
Hornet, the Hornet.
It was okay. Yeah, we'll call it the Hornet.
No, we're not going to
don't call it the Hornet. The Hornet's the one that the Doolittle was launched from.
You might as well throw the Enterprise out there. You're throwing the Enterprise out there for enough things, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't say which one Spruance was on.
Come on.
Oh, let me look. Let me look.
What was the turkey shoot? What was the name of it?
The Marianas Turkey Shoot.
All right,
Yeah.
we're all furious. This is great pod because we're all researching.
I was actively looking up St. Gemma pendants actually for you guys.
Do they have them?
Yeah, but the Catholic shop is like $90. I was like, geez, these guys aren't worth
Marianas
that.
Turkey Shoot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's exactly it.
Oh, it just says the Navy's Fifth Fleet.
Well, there you go, the whole Fifth Fleet then, huh?
Oh, 24 aircraft carriers. What?
Well, it was the biggest carrier battle
Wow.
of the war. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Okay. All right.
That's
I thought
pretty cool,
maybe
though.
it just came from a couple.
That Pacific gets overlooked. Right?
Lexington
We've had that
was one.
discussion multiple times.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and there were some light carriers too.
Right.
Yeah.
Smaller ones. So.
Yep. Very cool.
And what was the date on it?
1 June through 19th. The 19th, pretty much.
Damn, it went that long.
Well, the planning, the whole, we're going to meet them, we're going to engage them. Yeah. So the actual battle was the 19th.
I dig it.
The actual contact.
And that was 43?
I thought that was 44, but yeah.
44? Sorry, I didn't pay attention when you first started.
44. 1944.
June 19th or 20th, 44. Oh, nice one. Yeah, I dig it. Philippine Sea.
Like I said, we could have dug more into the European.
No, but some of those you don't hear, and that was that's part of the point of doing a day in history.
Yeah.
Is not do the big major milestones. It's like, hey, let's do some, and you've been great at that.
Well, and that was a huge battle for us in the Pacific. That was starting to change the direction that Japan was going.
Well, it was right.
Yeah.
So that's a great one. That's a good one. Any sign on the Gemma pendant? I'll get us all one. I'll buy us all one. But not from the Catholic store because
the Catholic store was
hugely
ridiculous.
overpriced. I could go down to Federal and probably get one for like $250.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So. Good job, gentlemen. I'm going to propose that up to General Gutlein and whoever else will listen, and we'll see. Who knows? We might be instrumental.
And
might be instrumental in that.
Yep.
You never know. All right, let's call end up. Unless you guys got something else. No.
No,
Nope.
I'm still thinking Trinity, the three Trinity.
The Trinity. That
George
trifecta.
Gemma
George
Wilgefortis.
Gemma Wilgefortis is spot on, man.
Maybe
That
we
beard
could
was
be. I
nice.
mean, we the Space Force should be the first
Right? To do something
to
out
have
of the
like
ordinary.
a trinity of saints to pray.
I
for.
like it.
Yeah.
So if you're worried about what we're going to encounter in space,
Right?
and you don't want to shave, and you got lower back pain,
You're covered.
You get the trifecta.
I don't know why. How could you not be more protected?
Can you imagine what the pendant looks like with a dragon and a big guy with a lance and a freaking
No,
beard?
a big lady with a back brace and a freaking full beard.
I
on that horse.
think it should be a lady in knight's clothing with the spear and the dragon with a cane. You know, and then you got all three. And you're
With
like,
a long beard.
oh, she's got back pain. She hasn't shaved in months, and she's slaying this alien. I like it. Any graphic artists who are listening to that, please send us.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Jan it up.
That'd be awesome.
I'm laughing at just the picture of that.
Oh, man.
On behalf of all of us here, I'd like to thank you for listening today. Please like, share, subscribe, and let us know how we did in the comments. And if there's any graphic artists out there, please send us this crazy concept so we can propose it to Space Force for their patron saint.
Yeah. Even a trash Photoshop will do it.
Oh, that's
I'm
true.
good with
Yeah.
that.
Use paint. We don't care.
That'd be awesome.
Use MS Paint.
We'll put it up.
Oh, man.
The dragon's got a wonky eye.
Oh, gentlemen, thanks for this week, and I'll see you next week.
Right on.
All right, guys. Have fun.
And pray tonight to the gods of three.